Fnatic. Unless Navi have a chance to upset Nip, but I'm not 100% sure on that. They've been playing well online lately and better at lands, but they're still not perfect.
Group B is Envy, Virtus Pro, Titan, Cloud9, and Immunity.
It's got to be Envy and Virtus Pro.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think Cloud9's had enough time together to make it through groups. I think they could play spoiler to Titan. I think they could manage to pull a map off Titan.
Titan's weird because they always play well against Titan, but Titan always plays well against upper teams. They're kind of like eLevate.
Yeah, they play up and down to their opponents.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and we talked about...
RPK needs to get, like... RPK said if he came back and be a support player, that'd be enough. I don't agree. I think that guy needs to step back into, like, his massive fragging potential that he has, and then if he and Kenny can be consistent, they got a hell of a team. Maniac stepped it up massively. Existence is playing better. Apex is actually, in my opinion, their best... their highlight player, depending on how he plays, but... If RPK can get rolling even just a little bit more, I think they're going to be a threat. I mean, we did see them get to the finals against Navi in the EPL.
Right.
But we're ready. We are ready.
And eLevate's got that T side, the side they struggled with, so let's see the changes they made here. Look at this aggressive push from Luminosity right down mid, though. Pitt's going to get the first one.
So the Swedish player opening things up early on in this game. Pitt's going to now get the second on XP3. Storm did get one just before that, as did Rush. That brings us back to 3-on-3. Nafly so low on HP, down to 4. This has to mean he rotates all the way back the long way through Library, but this is a good push down Banana. Because Pith got those 2 kills, Lex is going to go with them. And they've pretty much isolated the terrorists to only working onto the A site, despite that there's still a minute. They are on top of it. They'll go for this bomb plant. They have to get off it. They realize that there's got company in behind. That's your bomb planter down, and now Roka dropping as well. Rush. It's all left to just Storm.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They made the right call going out Hulls quick. Naf was too low to take a fight to slow him down, but Luminosity makes the better play, coming up mid very, very aggressively, and they find all the kills. They don't even get the bomb plant. You said they got off it. Storm does grab one. If he finds Naf, this could be doable. Naf's only got 4, but here comes Lex very, very aggressively. He's just going to clean up Storm, and that's going to be the pistol round in the way of Luminosity. So a good opening, aggressive opening from them, trying to set the tone early.
Yeah, really well done by Luminosity. That push from Pith and just having Lex to support it, that's really aggressive. It's good to see Lex taking those aggressive plays because he's more of a passive player traditionally. Even just watching him stream, even when he's not playing in serious matches, his whole style, his whole demeanor is really laid back. So it's good to see that hopefully if he's going to play with Pith more regularly, I can see him being that person because just the welcoming personality, that's kind of his role as the captain of the team. I could see him being really good off Pith's aggression. So this could be encouraging. It is the pistol round. It's early to read that, but... Smoke will go out, they're already pushing through it. Elevate around the corner, this time Pith's going to line them up with 2. Nafly contributing on the 3rd, and Pith finds himself the assist on that as Nafly gets the double with Peter chiming in that time. Storm does take down Naf eventually, but he finds himself lonely. Yeah, this is interesting, because now he has the FAMAS, and they've managed to bring this back down to only Anger and Lex. And this time they're going to split themselves up. Anger's already at the A site, Lex at the bottom of middle. No Storm's just crossed over. He hasn't been able to peek out just yet, but... They've got them trapped. He does have the advantage of having this rifle, but the SMG popping out behind him, unaware that it's going to be there, and Anger does the early damage. Storm now realizes, though, that he's pushed out of the site. This opens up the arch side. He's going to go through it, but wraps back through Library. This is peculiar. Anger's going to get caught off by this.
Yeah, he really is. Storm just so patient. Such a smart play. And now look how far away Lex is. And Storm's going to get a free plant and a lot of time to position himself perfectly for it.
That was beautiful. That Storm played that to perfection because Anger called that he beat him to Arch. Lex was playing the passive role at middle. Now he rotates over far too soon on that call. And Storm completely outplayed them there. And now he takes down Lex inside the smoke, so picking up that rifle work. That started off so well for Luminosity with Pith lining up 2, Nafly with the double, and then all of a sudden it turns completely on its head and Storm, great play.
Yeah, smart play, cerebral play from Storm, and it was just all about, you're exactly right, those trades went all in the favor of Luminosity until Storm lurks out Boiler. So getting caught off, and actually the way he played that, we said it's so incredibly smart, he split them up even more. I mean, Lex was flanking up mid, Anger was wrapping around, was in the bomb site, and Storm puts them into a situation where both sites are potentially under attack, so they have to split up to defend them, and they get punished for it.
Lex has the Deagle out this time. 3 on B. Peter in the position to throw out the flash and let them take that peek. He's already got it cocked and waiting. Pin pulled. And they go. There it is, but they're not up close enough. So when they peek out, unfortunately, although they do blind up one player in Roka, they can't get a shot onto him.
He's got one more.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, Lex gets the kill.
Yeah, that was a nice shot on the XP3, just standing at the logs. Perfect headshot. And Luminosity's Deagles have been pretty amazing this season so far from what we've seen. They're going to molly off the pole, and they're going to jump up. It is Pit, and it is Naf in the pit right now. And here they come swinging up the leg. Storm goes down. He gets clothesline. Rush trades it out, but some good kills. It puts it into a 2-on-3. This is an opportunity here for Luminosity to bring it right back.
Pit again contributing to a kill this round. He leads the way right now with 6. But Peter and Anger need to get rolling. Of course, they have only had the guns out and forced by in the second round, so it's a bit early still. But they have a chance here. Lex is going to catch Desi. Double deagle for him this round.
Triple,
well
actually.
Shot. Triple. Yeah, you're right. 3 total. Yep. And he gets back the FAMAS that they gave up in the first round, so in the second round rather. So that's good. That's a good response. Just resets things. We're basically back to as if the 2 ecos never existed.
He just clotheslined Peter or Desi there, and that was the play that Desi kind of had to make. It's that situation where you're in the bomb site, you have the bomb planted, you know you're getting wrapped on by one member. You got to find that one-on-one battle quickly before you get pinched, and Lex was just prepared for it with that low HP. Just holds the angle, takes his head off. But it is going to be a bye with that bomb plant. They lost the round, but they do pick up 3 AK-47s. They have a deagle of their own on Roka, who's now slouched with it, and a Tech 9 on XP3. And they're facing a pretty similar buy. Peter's only got a 5-7 here.
I do like the complexion of this new LG lineup. I actually do. If Anger can stay consistent, perform on LAN, if Peter can get rolling and stay consistent, there's so much potential. Even if Lex is contributing, like already an early start for him. And he's not normally your high-fragging player. Anger this time is going to drop out the smoke. Rather a flash. I thought that was going to be there's the smoke. A little bit later, but the flash did catch off one player. So they wouldn't have been able to push forward even still. Anger waiting with a second. Actually, he's waiting with incendiary. That word's so hard. Why is that word so hard for me, Moses?
I don't know, Canadian or something. It's the big thing is that Peter's kind of cheating over. He's in the middle of the rotates. He's in CT spawn, so he's gonna have a very quick rotate towards B. He's gonna throw this Molotov right into water.
Really nice smoke execution. Now look at that wall of smoke based off that bounce off Skybox. So Anger has to throw out the fire because if he doesn't, he's got no vision. Peter's the first one there. Roka's gonna find him. That's a good. I like the smoke play. Now they can wrap around actually through construction. Forces the fight onto Lex. He's already waiting for it though. He knows that's the only way they'll get to him. And they've already taken down one player inside CT, so he has to be able to get hold of this angle and rush up.
They brought the bomb all the way back to A. Storm's about to lurk out the halls. They got to do this quick because Naf's he's already come back to library. He's got a little inkling that this is going to happen, and he spots where they haven't seen him yet. He sprays down Storm. He could ruin this entirely for eLevate. It was beautifully executed, but Naf throwing a wrench in the plans of eLevate.
Desi just barely gets that kill, down to 9 HP. That's important because the bomb gets secured, and they actually buy themselves some time to get to some post-plant situation. As Anger finds himself lonely and alive, but depending on how long is a matter of debate because he's got a split play right now. They have a crossfire on him. They know where he is, but he finds the first kill and overextension right now from XP3 to take this aggressive peek, and Anger has to switch to the pistol. Can't find the shot just yet. XP3 still on the Tech 9, has the advantage as he comes back across, and it's a drive-by shooting. Anger drops down.
That was so incredibly close. That was to break from a one. I mean, that was just poorly played by eLevate. That's what I mentioned when we talked about how bad they are at times in situationals. It's the over peaking. They're not juggling these fights properly in the clutch situations. They're letting players kill them when all you have to do is really just barely peek. Don't even fight. Just let them know you're there. Keep them, slow them down. Play the timing. And almost a 1-on-3 win there for Luminosity.
So Roka this time will get up toward alt mid. As the rest of them will lurk toward the top of middle. Again, they go for this 3-stack with the pistols. It worked for them once, so they'll go back to the same play. Peter in position to throw the flash. This time there's a smoke out, so Anger's going to leave a little bit earlier.
Yeah, but they're all the way up bracket. They have complete bracket control. They have wrap side control as well. Anger might not realize they're here, although he probably does hear him now. He gets the 1D, not looking his way. It's not smoked off, so he punished him. Desi even gets dinked. This is looking pretty good here for Luminosity. Anger gets a second one.
Man, you called these guys for the Deagle Masters, and Anger now has 3 in the round. Same as Lex did last time. Maybe they should just stick to these Deagles because that's going to close it out. Rush has nowhere to hide, and Naf's just waiting for him to come back across the bomb site. 3-2 eLevate rather. Luminosity. This is back and forth as it can possibly be. This is exciting already. This is setting the tone perfectly for this evening.
Yeah, it might be a little bit sloppy, but it is just back and forth, hitting each other in the face, and it's just confusing to me, because eLevate they had smokes, they had nades, they had flashbangs, and no one felt like dropping one at Library. Anger got 3 pretty much free kills. Like, I don't know why they just don't use their utility when they have it. It's just a massive blunder, and that's unfortunate. It cost them that round, so neither team being able to grasp anything.
Now Fly gets almost caught without getting the gun back out in time, but he'll still pop out, get one. Pith actually stole the other one from him just out from under the gun. And Peter Nade stacked onto Desi. Nafly took a little bit of damage. With 2 players still up, Roka and Rush. Well, never mind. Knock Roka off the map. Rush can do the same. I was going to say there wasn't much they could do, and that definitely came true just as I was thinking the thought.
Just as you were thinking the thought. So eLevate playing a little bit more of an economy game at the moment. They're not going to force buy here, actually. As soon as I say that, of course, Desi buys up a Glil, the rest of them are picking up AK-47, so they want to keep the pressure on. They don't want to let the economy for Luminosity build, and this is actually a very, pretty risky purchase in my opinion. Not a whole lot of utility to work with. 3 Glils with them.
We'll see if they can... I mean, the other aspect of this, though, is with the Force, there's only 4 smokes, period, to work with for eLevate. I have an anticipation that they're going to head back to that wall of smokes on the B site they used last time.
Yeah, that's very possible. I mean, this is kind of what they've been doing. Even the other day against Nihilum, they were just grouped up and they would just hit a bomb site. There's no spread out map control or anything, and they actually should use this window of opportunity. There's no smoke down, but Anger just throws it. Now they're going to have to wait. Oh, no, they're not. They're just going to come right through it. Nice pop flash.
That flash didn't quite go deep enough to catch Lex, though, so he'll pop right back out. Desi, the first of which to drop to his good eyesight. Anger actually killed... Well, how did Anger shoot Lex from that angle? That's a weird shot. I'd have to see that from his perspective. Unfortunately, I didn't, but he must have snapped just too far to the left because it didn't look like they were lined up. Either way, he does take down his teammate. Won't matter. Roka's all that is left with 3 HP. He does get bombed down. That's interesting. As the flames don't reach him in time. Yeah, there you go. He gets inside the water. Hey, what puts out flames? Water.
Yeah, right? There was a window of opportunity for eLevate there. Before that, I mean, most teams try and put that first smoke down a B at that spot in that choke point at about 1 minute. They got there at about like 1:07, I want to say. So they had some time there to try and, make a play, walk in dry. We actually saw it out of a team last night. It worked beautifully for them. But they choose to just wait, and they stall it out. They let that smoke come down, and they back through it. And that was just a great execution on the crossfire between Lex and Anger. Just mowed him down.
Mowing him down. Cutting the grass.
Doing the lawnmower.
I was going to make a lot more noise. Oh, this nade, though. That's a good nade. How did that... Okay, it did. Okay. That was late. Like, the timing in my head thought that should have already hit. But they do get Roka in at the tree, so good nade stack there, and it's pistols again for eLevate, so already a man down. Rest of them grouped up. They're going to try and get inside Boiler. No one really pushed up in that position right now from LG's side. Nafly is actually dropping off of that apartment entrance just to go out and throw a nade. So he'll play with Pith. In fact, he has the tight angle to hold the Boiler door. Pith will have the angle and crossfire if they step out beyond that and toward middle. So Pith's the one that really has the optimal position to take these shots. They're going to smoke off both. In fact, fire out on Boiler. But meanwhile, that's all going back over toward B. And the smoke out to delay them there, so eLevate, this is a toilet bowl strategy. Around and around they go.
Yeah, all that's left is to go out mid. That's where Peter's got his AWP. He's got the corner. He does grab the hip of Desi. Takes him out. He falls back to a better angle. They jump right over his shot, and now they're going to swarm him. He takes a no-scope but can't hit it. They're following through CT spawn.
Look at Pith, though. Look at Pith. He's going to come the other way and support him. Even though Peter goes down, he's already there. So they get the up, but that's all they're going to get. Pith, good positioning. They'll get that back as well at the end of the round quite easily. So Anger will close it up. XP3 goes down.
Yeah, that was just Peter staying alive as long as humanly possible for Pith to come in and bail him out of that situation. So they do get the kill, but like you said, they save the op. It's going to be back to that first gun round. I don't think we saw much of it against Nihilum at XP3. We haven't seen him pick it up yet. Their economy hasn't really stabilized after that crazy first 5 rounds that went back and forth, but he hasn't really tried to op on this map much recently.
So Anger Bounce out the fire. Flash, deep nade as well, but it's all stacked up inside alt mid for eLevate this time. Deep smoke too. This is interesting because they're going to play a deep smoke, but they don't have anyone deep inside Banana to go with that. They're going to leave Lex really far inside this site. So this does let Anger and Nafly to rotate over, but the problem is, okay, now Lex pushes out. This is the smart play, because even if he doesn't get aggressive, and in that way if he dies early, he can call for a rotate, but if he plays passive, as long as he has a smoke to get himself back inside the site, that's the big thing. And he does still have that smoke. Then he can call for the rotation. It will slow down the push, and that's why they're allowing this free rotation for Anger. But he's already leading back, and that's the wrong call, because they're coming up from middle. Smoke off left side. They'll have to force on the truck. No vision, though, and Pith is on the backside of that smoke placed out by the CTs. He only gets the one, but Nafly and Peter in great position to collect the rest, and suddenly XP3 very quickly ran out of helping hands, and he goes down just as quickly as the rest of them.
Yeah, what a hold by Luminosity, and eLevate wasn't able to make up any progress in that lane. That one smoke came out from Luminosity that blocks off basically the entire lane side, the truck side, and Pitt's able to work around it. And the op from Peter and Pitt is just brutal, so very, very well held, and eLevate not able to get anything going on so far early on in this match. It's kind of what we saw out of them last night. They're staying very grouped up. They're not spreading out. They're not going for any kind of control or finding a kill anywhere to cause rotations. They're just grouped up throughout the round, and then they hit a bomb site.
So again, eLevate seem to be struggling on their T side. Inferno. It's the exact same case we saw against Nihilum just 2 nights ago. Smoke out in apartments, don't see that as often as we used to, but that'll prohibit any entrance from the stairwell to take that initial peek. Roka finds Pit, but he throws the bomb back over because he took a good amount of damage, and in fact he's going to go down, so smart play not to have that bomb in his possession as XP3 at least gets back into anger. Nafly holding on Storm as he tries to come out from the apartments, but he has to do 2 more because they've come around from the top of mid, and there's the first. Rush is going to answer back. That's a trade. But still, it's a 1-on-2. Bomb's going to get it in position. Peter changing his angle, goes back over toward the archway. Doesn't want to take that op shot, interestingly enough, but it is going to be smoked off. So they'll come from the bottom side. That's actually correct. This works out perfectly based on the smoke play from Rush. He now realizes that they're coming from this direction, though, so he takes the fight directly to Lex. No, not to be fooled. Lex is looking, I have to say, quite good and quite composed this evening. That's going to be his 8th kill. He'll get the defuse. An 8th round for Luminosity Gaming.
Yeah, a smart play by Peter there, dropping the AWP, picking up a rifle, and coming with his team. And in the past, we wouldn't have seen him do that. Like you said, you were surprised he didn't take that op shot from Library. That's something I think, you know, last season with CLG he would have done, and I think they're making some changes on how they want to play as Luminosity Gaming. That's the smart play. You drop the sniper rifle, you pick up an AK-47, and you play with your teammate. You play for the trade in that situation. And like you said, Lex doing very, very well, gets the kill, and Peter's able to salvage the op anyways. So Luminosity looking very, very strong here.
I mean, keep in mind, if they split up like that, that smoke would have helped Peter out, so he'd have been standing there useless. Lex came around and actually took the fight. He won it, but imagine he lost that, and then Peter's left with it. So yeah, I mean, that's an improvement, like you say. That's pretty important to note. But smoke's out top mid. Pitt's going to get back in toward Boiler. They flash him around the corner. He'll find out very quickly, though, that there is no one there. Still worth it to take the peek, find that out, because now they can get a little more aggressive toward B, and in fact, Peter's already rotating back through CT. Smoke will go out to delay Roka and Des.
I do want to say that last round was actually very good by eLevate. Roka goes up lane, and he finds the fights he likes. He swings out under porch and gets an initial pick, and then XP3 finds one on the wrap side because it's a rotation. And, you know, he picks one off during that, and that's what eLevate needs to do here. They can't just keep grouping up, playing passive, and then hitting a bomb site. That's just been getting far too shut down at the moment by Luminosity, so they've got to change something up, and it's going to be a B-wrap here.
But Anger's in good position for this, so they're going to walk directly into him, and they had no idea he's there. And XP3 tries to go for the trade. Anger controls his spray and takes them both. Peter now has this Dragon Lord. Is he going to breathe the fire? He tries to. Does lag up Roka, but unfortunately, the Dragon's not evolved enough to take the kill, so he has to call on Anger to get back out and take the damage. It's going to actually get smoked off. It leaves it all on Lex. He gets one only, and Desi gets him. He actually, okay, no, he turns back. I thought he was going to push through the smoke and try and get behind them. Either way, Peter does drop the bomb out of the hands of Desi. Storm goes back in Anger, and Peter to the P250. That Dragon grew up real quick, I have to say.
You're trying to get a whole Pokemon theme going on here with the Dragon, aren't you?
Charmander, woo!
Yeah, and it's just a very mobile defense for Luminosity at the moment. The last couple hits, the rotations have been so fast, and, you know, they have this intel before the hit actually comes, so that round they actually have 3 players at B, which is such a hard defense to break through. The round before that, they actually had 4 players over towards A when the hit came in from eLevate, so they're getting very, very good reads on what eLevate's doing offensively at the moment. And we're seeing the same struggles out of eLevate as we saw yesterday. We talked about their T side looked very, very weak. They only got like 4 gun rounds, or 2 gun rounds, I think, total overall against Nihilum.
Desi just checking out Boiler. Well, he has the time, and that smoke's in position. Nafly, Pit actually both in decent position to hold. Pit's actually going to fall and play more passively. Interestingly enough, Peter's not. He'll take the initial peek, but he has to fall off immediately because he won't have a crossfire situation right now where they're double holding onto Pit. So Peter will have 1 shot and an immediate backup plan, probably to front library. He might, knowing him, he could actually go to Arch and try and take a secondary angle, but the best play would be to get back towards the front library. He's already fading off to Arch, so. But meanwhile, eLevate's not going to head that direction, so we actually won't see that transpire. That would have been interesting to see, just where it's double passive on truck side and Peter to get 1 shot and then have to go back and support. That would have been interesting to see how he plays it.
Rush is very lucky to get away with his life, but here comes Pit on the rotate, takes out Rush, takes his head off. It's just Desi. He hasn't been traded off quite yet, but he does find one. Tries to go in spawn, but he's pulled a rotator. He's pulled support away from the B bomb site, so it's going to be a 3-on-1, but actually they don't have a smoke, so they get mowed down. It turns into a crossfire because they had no smoke for CT spawn. And this defense from Luminosity is just swarming.
So 10 rounds, Luminosity, 2 eLevate, 2 elevates. 1 eco, actually almost 2 ecos, really. It was so staggered and back and forth, to be completely honest. There were 4 spies, but
yeah,
I mean, they were pretty interesting to Storm. What? Come on, man. Who did that? Who dares stab Storm and spawn? So Anger's going to nade deep on Banana this time. That won't go deep enough to do... Actually, it does do more damage to Storm. So poor guy's getting beat up on early. That's not fair. He's the veteran of Counterstrike, by the way. He is older, so when Natu retired, Storm took over as the oldest active competitive player. It's not Taz that everyone thinks it is.
How old's Taz? Storm's 29.
28.
Oh.
Yep. There you go. The more you know.
And same setup again. Same setup again.
Deep smoke, or deeper smoke from Lex, that lets this early rotation. So we'll see how this goes down this time as they want to get up mid. And they're already coming in.
Anger's just spraying over this Molotov, using the cover, knowing they can't get close to him, so he's just mowing him down. He's going to come in for another peek. He's already got 2. Can't grab a 3rd. He does get taken out, but his teammates are there to bail him out. That's Peter. He's still getting pressured. But Desi just picks up the AK-47 and falls back, and he's got head armor, so he could do a little bit of economical damage if he wanted to, but Lex shuts that idea down very, very quickly, comes up mid. It's just Rush, not much left for him to do.
Poor Brian in chat realizing that 28 is old. I'm not far behind, guys. I might be a kid, but I'm not far behind. So opt for Peter's still going to come out. Look at the economy. I mean, this is 12-1, 13-9-5, 800 for Anger. That's actually hilarious in the scheme of things on his team. But again, eLevate not able to get much going when they try to come up. So really good holds from LG, and I have to say their play, their dynamic play. I don't know if this is Pith coming over and showing off just the way to use Banana control to get early rotations or not. But that's a very European style of play in Banana.
Yeah, now they're just forced to run through smokes. They don't know what else to do. They do get the trade kill, but XP3's been dinked, and he gets taken out by Nap, and him and Peter combined to just mow up the rest of the attack. So it's just Storm who's trying to lurk Boiler and Halls, but there's nothing to lurk when you're the last member alive.
Not flight, there it is. Storm down. Almost flawless. Pit does go down, but yeah, that's
this is a smackdown.
Round 15. Luminosity. This is impressive stuff. They look extremely good on Inferno. This is this is probably one of the best Inferno halves on CT, even including Nihilum's half the other night. I actually think the rotations and just the teamwork right now from LG is even more impressive. This is probably one of the best Inferno sides I've seen a North American team play in quite some time.
I mean, they're surviving with 3 to 4 members. Only 1 round in the streak of rounds that they picked up has come down to 2 players, so an early trade puts it into a 4-on-4.
That's old school Peter, but there's no reason not to at this point, just to get that comfort level back up, go for those aggressive peeks, and they almost get caught off going down banana, but they're spotted. That's the important thing. So now Lex and Anger can't go, and in fact, I think they did spot Anger going into the tree as well. He's going to stick around in that position, but Lex will be the one to rotate. So they'll support back on A despite Peter going down, and Anger's going to have that aggressive position, and as I say, if he dies, even if he gets a trade there and dies early enough, they're far enough down banana that they'll get that rotation from Lex as long as he stays passive, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's on Speedway. In fact, excuse me. In fact, with that smoke, he may even... Okay, no, he's changed his mind. I thought he was going to go back to B, because it looks like they could have a potential wrap, but with smoking off Arch and the Library, Pitt's going to be in the position from Graveyard. We'll see if he can become the Grave Digger, because he's got the first sight on XP3. Damage done back into him, though. He's down to 46. Nafly is going to bail him out, take down Roka and Anger. Backside of Apartments, Storm's down 13-2. That's an incredible half.
Is that a monster truck reference you just threw out there?
Technically, I think yes, but that wasn't the intention.
Should have just gone with it. Yeah, that was just that was such a beatdown, and now we'll see. I mean, the next problem, or not the next problem, but you know, we'll see if Luminosity, if they can close this out quickly, if they're going to let eLevate, you know, cycle off some rounds before they really clean things up, or if they're just going to put their foot down hard.
I froze. Did you freeze?
I did.
Oh God, GoTV's been doing this to me today. Did it earlier too.
It happens. But getting back in right now, Pisteron, I believe, is just going live.
Well, you do it, because I got to restart the whole game, so...
The whole Counterstrike thing?
Yeah, rip.
So Roka's going to be the solo B player, and actually all 5 members are coming over towards B, but Roka falls back. He's getting some team support in the form of XP3, who's going to pop flash out, and this is kind of scary, because they do like to get aggressive in these situations, but if he's too aggressive, he's just going to run into 3 or 4 Luminosity players. But it's a far back passive setup from Luminosity, waiting for any of that trademark aggression out of eLevate. They do it often on CT Pisterons, but they're playing passive now. They do have a Hall stack. Desi and Storm have a great bait and switch going on here. And this is actually really good from Luminosity. Look at what they're causing. If you can see the mini-map, they've pulled 4 players from eLevate over towards the A bomb site, and now they're switching back over towards B. They went towards B initially, got to rotate, then went back to A. And now Roka's in a very, very scary spot. He's got to play behind this smoke, and he's got to do it effectively. He's not able to. He gets taken out immediately. XP3 is so far away. It's a free bomb site. They even push one up towards the tree. That's Anger, who's got a good angle, but XP3 looks for it. Still gets taken out anyways. Anger with armor and that Tech 9. He's a bit of a tank at the moment. And things all across the map are just collapsing for eLevate. Not even getting a single kill. Rush finally adds one in. But in a 4-on-2, Luminosity looking to put an exclamation point on this match.
Oh, that's the thing, because now they go to 14. This is a clinic. This is just well executed. That CT side was very impressive. So Pistol goes the way of Luminosity Gaming. Again, they overwhelm with good teamwork and good execution to take that B site. What does eLevate do in response? They'll upgrade to 1 PT50 on XP3. That puts them down to $100 though. That's a bit peculiar because he's significantly lower than the rest of his team. Okay, so now Nafly is going to buy out. He'll go to 150, but if they had those 2 had a saved and the other 3 had bought, they'd be at even money. Now this is going to leave them in a tighter position to try and force buy when this goes to round 15.
Yeah, well, I mean, they all bought out, so they all went down to 100. I don't think you're...
Yeah, but again, if the first 2 didn't, so if Nafly and Pith didn't, they would have stayed at 16 roughly, so they would the first 3 buying out, that's fine, but it would kept their money equal to be in a better position for the next round. I think they're going to be light, because based on... I don't even know if they'll be able to get FAMAS out. They might, without head armor.
I mean, they're going for the win here. They don't want it to get to 15. That's the thing. And Desi gives him a good chance. He gets that opening pick. It's going to be 2 SMGs, a Tech 9, and a Galil left in the hands of Luminosity. They're split up across the map. They do open up the B bomb site, but they don't realize, I don't think, that's the only player there. Roka gets taken out. The rotates come in. 2 of them, in fact. They've caused a lot of movement by that 1 kill in the smoke, so that's going to give him room to work with up mid. And you can see 2 players, Anger leading the way with his Tech 9. He's starting to work his way up to try and scout things out. But a good crossfire from Rush and Storm might be able to shut this down.
Pit very low on HP. But as is Storm, as is Desi. But look at Storm. He takes 2 onto Peter, the second of which to drop with that headshot. And now they've got the advantage. That bomb is down in a very, very securable position as Rush has one side, Storm has the other. They spot Nafly jumping in to get it. He does manage to pick it up and secure it, but he's only got 19 seconds, so they have to get this planted, and they're not going to allow that to happen. XP3, there you go. Well, take back what I said. the force. They are playing for the win, and they'll at least keep them on 14 and now potentially have a chance to get their economy rolling. Their CT side can be quite good as well, but they've still got a big hole to get themselves out of now.
Yeah, but we're talking they need to go on a run of at least, 9 rounds straight. And that's going to be the scary part. I mean, they're not even really in this match until they win 9. But
9 rounds straight? Are you playing like you're playing to still leave them at a disadvantage?
no, but you need to get to at least that much before you let Luminosity respond, or else you're really just not into it at all. It's not quite a comeback until you can get that high up. But either way, it doesn't really matter. There's still a massive lead for Luminosity. And they're just going to walk in on B. We saw how devastating those eco rounds were in the first half, and if that happens again, no matter what the trade ends up, it's going to be bad for eLevate. So Anger trying to jump over the smoke and find something with that deagle, can't do it.
Desi slowly looked like he was going to head over toward B. Now he stops and thinks better of it, so stays on the outside, top middle, with Rush on the opposing side for the crossfire. Storm holding on to the pit in case they head to apartments, but it was only a passive momentary reconsideration from LG as they back down Banana. They still want to get through, and as that smoke dissolves, they have a good chance to push in here without much cover going against them, because eLevate doesn't have any more smokes. They've only got flashes to work with, but they do have rifles, and XP3 uses it to his advantage. Anger the first to try and come in. The rest will do so immediately after. They won't get much further, but Lex manages to at least get 2. There's the deagle as well. He gets 2, and a 1 deagle on XP3. If he can get this bomb down, he might have a decent chance. Why did he throw that M4 away? Out of ammo? I'm not 100% sure.
It might have been.
So he actually picked up a gun and decides not to use it. He doesn't get him behind quad. He tries to go for the plant, desperate to get money working back in their favor, but Rush is going to catch him trying to do so. So at least he made it interesting. I'll give him that. But eLevate are now only 10 rounds behind. Only 10 rounds behind.
Yeah, not too shabby. 1 round at a time, boys. Just don't hit tab.
Yeah, that's the thing. Don't let this play in the back of your mind. It's
no
1
big
round
deal.
at a time.
And it's going to be, we saw that, you mentioned it, Luminosity in the first half doing that triple push B to gain map control to be able to rotate and cheat one back towards A. eLevate not quite doing that. In fact, they're going to get aggressive, peeking down mid. That's a fight they didn't really need to take. Desi's down at 1 HP. And the cost of that little peek was, there's no reward to it. They gained absolutely nothing from it. He just got punished for no reason.
Unfortunate circumstance for him. Decent circumstance for Luminosity. And they're going to go back to these deagles, man. This is awesome. It's old school, man. I love it. I love seeing these be used and actually to a decent amount of successes. Lex wants to get another, and he does, man. How many 1-deeks can this guy get in one single match? Storm dropping this time. Rush now has to play extremely well to help support Desi, who's on 1 HP, and XP3 has rotated over to early to compensate for that. The good news is that Lex is on 16. Anger is only on 9. Pith, he's on even less. He's down and out of this one as Rush finishes him off, and somehow Rush is doing all the work right now. He does pick up the 3, so he does support his teammate, and Roka closes it out. Desi at least gets an assist and somehow survives with that 1 HP he had pretty much the entire round.
Lex's deagle is just on point. Taking out Storm like that, and then I got lost in the action, but he takes out XP3 long range through a box, dinks him, and then takes a second shot and just takes him out. So eLevate do recover from it, but that was such a scary situation, and they can't afford to be put in those situations early on in the rounds with a teammate down to 1 HP, especially on an eco, or an anti-eco. Like, you just can't put yourself in a deficit that way so early on. And we are going to see the AWP picked up onto Peter's hands. We didn't see one on the side of eLevate all their terrorist half. And if eLevate keeps to be in those aggressive, peaky situations, I mean, this is something where Peter's going to be able to really, he's going to be able to find shots to give his team a good start.
Sorry, I was making a tweet really quickly to Lex to ask him if he would sign my deagle. This is interesting. Lex is in Boiler, and he's got 3 CTs pushed up around him. He had nowhere to go that time. Desi's going to drop him. Anger 9 HP.
They did the same push last night. It's a very old Virtus Pro stack in the halls that they did at the original Katowice Major that helped them win it. It's very, very effective stack.
And Roka gets back into pit this time. Goes to this bounce flash off Orange's 1. Catches Desi a little bit as he's on the quick rotate, but it won't affect him any because he's already blinded out by the smoke regardless. So Roka picks up the kill on Naf, although he took down the player at Spools just before that. So Desi now has to stick around at B, regardless of the fact they won that battle. But either way, it's going to be a 2-on-2 site take, no matter how you split it, because that's all LG has left to work with.
And they have a player rotating off. Desi's rotating away. It's just going to be Roka in this B site, so it's going to be a 2-on-1. This is perfect, and he gets out of position. He's in the open, and they know exactly where he is. Peter's got the op on it. Desi's coming back. He's spraying through the smoke. Anger does get taken out by that spray, so a nice recoil bullet hits him, and Peter's tried to work his way into a good fight. Can't connect the shot, but that was very, very scary. That was one of the only ways that eLevate could have lost that round, was to allow that B bomb site to be given up, and they almost did it. But 6-14 for eLevate, so it is going to be another save out of Luminosity. No plant that round.
Well, there's 3 of your additional 9 that you were asking for, 4 in a row now.
I want them to get 9 until they allow Luminosity to get one more. They have to win a certain amount of rounds before they let Luminosity get to 15 to make it realistic.
I totally understood what you meant when you re-explained it, and they have to do it efficiently, because that way, not only do they have the economy completely broken, they have theirs well established at that point. It's not getting themselves out of it too soon, and it also means that there's less room for error when they do get that much closer. Nafly though, nice shot on Desi. Rush makes up for it. Desi at least got one before he went down as well, so now they've got the 2-man advantage. As Pith is on 61, and Lex won't be able to do any magic this time with the Deagle.
Yeah, but that's not an effective trade. Now Naf has an AK-47, and he's got armor. No head armor, but he's got armor to work with. And even if they don't win the round, that's an AK-47 that can drop, you know, Colts out of the hands of the eLevate players. And we talked about they want to get that economy going. It's not that strong right now, so they can't just be going for those one-for-one trades on the anti-ecos. It's not an efficient trade.
So Rush has to hold off the front of Boiler and top of middle. The problem is that Roka's come over, so they actually do still have 3 a day. He needs to fall back soon, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's slowly leading off. XP3 is going to be alone in the B site. He's already used that first smoke, as we just see that dissolving right now at the front of car.
He's alone again.
Yeah, this is interesting. Roka needs to make up his mind and get there quickly, because they're slowly coming in. This is naked. Roka's going to be in decent position now, so he has got himself into set up a crossfire. And there's no smokes right now, so LG has to pretty much creep their way in. Roka twats the first one cross, but he goes for a shallow peek. Really shallow peek, so he's lucky XP3 get those first 2, because he could have done a lot more damage on that entry. And Nafly is going to come back in XP3. Roka does compensate for it by wrapping back around, so he stays the efficient play, but he could have been far more aggressive on that initial peek.
Yeah, it's weird to see, you know, not only eLevate, but Roka playing that timidly, almost. Like, he didn't commit to that whatsoever. It's like he saw the first body, and he didn't even, like, peek to get a good shot on him. He was just spraying, hoping someone was going to walk into it. I mean, it's a safer play, but it's also a little bit of a scared play, so as they make this comeback, if they keep this up, they're going to gain some confidence, and you're going to see a little bit better peaks out of these guys. They'll start playing with a little bit more conviction. We're seeing a fast B play, a fast banana control out of Luminosity. Anger's already very close up. He's stuck inside Molly's, but XP3's going to swing out, only gets 1. A rough trade. That's going to force Roka to throw out a pop flash. Maybe even has to use a smoke extremely early.
Okay, goes for this pop flash again, but to no avail. They've already fallen back down the banana as Lex in the lurk position tries to come up through the apartments. He's in decent position to do it, at least get closer to the door. That'll give him the shot on his Storm, but look at the positioning right now from Rush. He's actually playing the balcony. Okay, no, he's not. He's actually jumped himself further. He's on the windowsill, but Lex finds the first one on Storm. Now it's a desperate position right now. He hasn't moved. He hasn't moved. Rush makes that work, and he falls back. That's a beautiful play from Rush. Absolutely utilizing the map to his advantage, using that position on the windowsill. That was classy. That was sexy.
That was unreal. That third kill falling down. Unbelievable stuff. So eLevate gets bailed out a little bit there by a lucky shot from Rush. And the dream is alive still.
What a play. I thought he was going to fall off the second Lex took out Storm because he would be worried from pinching either side, but it's such an odd spot. It's unorthodox. Everyone knows about it, but it's not commonly used. So he stays put and it pays off. That was absolutely beautiful.
More B aggression, and actually Peter takes a ton of damage. He's still burning down to 22. Pip gets taken down to 74 as well, so early on this goes in the way of eLevate. Making their comeback at the moment. They have 2 players stacked up, and Luminosity is fully committed to this B play. Roka could get caught out here. I think he's been spotted. He's got to get bailed out by his teammate. XP3 gets the first one. Roka's a little bit blind. Hurries back to throw the pop flash. They're going to swing wide on him. It does blind Nap, but he's only able to take down 1. It's going to be a retake here for eLevate.
LG This has their best chance to get them around in a long time, but Desi's not going to allow that to happen as he sprays through, takes down Peter before he can even secure position. Thought he could do it easily with the smoke, not to be. And the front smoke now is completely dissolved, so Pith inside the site is going to be completely exposed. Not only that, he's going to get the fire pushed in. It's not deep enough. He can secure him behind oranges too as they try and come in, and Anger will catch them doing it. Pith lines them up because they completely overlook it. Anger gets one kill and they all stare him down. No one searching for the second player, and Pith makes them pay for it. It's now match point.
Yeah, so worried about finding the trade kill. They're just all caught looking one way, and Pith takes advantage of it. Nice patience from him, even though he's getting burned up by the fire a little bit, just slightly moves his angle and he finds both of them. That's a huge win there for Luminosity. They can breathe a little bit easier now. And eLevate, no more mistakes can go against him.
And nope, not going to go for the peek. There's just the nade. There might be something going on toward the top of middle, but they'll play it off each other. Rush and Storm. Desi is getting aggressive. Meanwhile, though, as he comes through the front smoke, tries to take a shot out, and he actually is going to get rushed to take down Pith when they enter. Nafly goes back. This is a decent trade. Still, that nade might get Nafly. No, it doesn't go deep enough, but Storm still finds Peter. And with Nafly, nice reaction shot from Storm. That was crazy as well. Turns back, catches Anger, and then finds Nafly. So 3K for him. Just to give a quick look at the scoreboard, Rush leads the way for 20 for eLevate. Rest of them are quite a bit back. XP3, 13, 12, 14, 13, but Nafly, 27 kills with Luminosity. I talked about how the fact that he couldn't really flourish in the Liquid roster, just based on the fact of the role he was playing, he was kind of overshadowed by people like Nitro. Well, if this is how he can make himself known in LG's roster, now with the depth they have, this is really promising. You said, oh, what were you thinking?
I was just thinking that no one can really flourish at the moment in that Liquid roster for whatever reason. They're all struggling a little bit. We're going to see a fast... ooh, actually, they fall back. They went into Boiler. They came up mid. I thought Storm was going to get caught out. But yeah, Naf having a fantastic game for Luminosity here. These roster changes they've made in the offseason have looked magnificent for him.
Well, that's the thing. I'll get back to that point. I was just thinking that exact same thought as... Rush gets 2, Storm able to hold off on the apartments. That means Naf drops down. He actually one-taps away with that M4. That time to take down Peter, and Pitt's the next to go down. So Storm, another good round. Another 3 kills in this one. He's catching up quickly now to Rush. But don't forget, Rush got 2 in that round himself. I made the tweet, and I've made mention of it already on our stream, but that no one really benefited from the NA roster shuffle. I said, how many teams did they muffle more like? But it looks like LG, actually, this is... Now that they've got Naf, this is a really good-looking roster. I think they might have actually made the biggest gain. Nihilum obviously got a big pickup as well with Hiko and Sempus, but LG overall has improved, I think, the most as a team.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait further on in the season to make that assessment, you know, more accurately. Now, but at the moment, they do look like they come out the winners, at least early on.
How dare you tell me what to do? You're not my dad, Moses.
Yeah.
My mom has higher standards.
Oh, jeez.
Smoke out, a little bit late. Anger, gonna push through it. And that flash, Anger! Oh my god, the 1Ds from LG tonight. But Rush able to come back with the 2 through the smoke, and Storm gets one on Peter. This will slow things down, but Anger's got around on the back of a site, and he's not done. He's already made one amazing play. That wooden pillar, though, prohibits his shot to come through. XP3 will close it out as a result. Unreal stuff.
Yeah, that is very good stuff, and that's another round. I mean, I hate to point it out, but that's another round where Desi just being overly aggressive gets caught out in no man's land by a nice pop flash from Luminosity, and you know, if that's a gun round, that's much more punishing easily. But you know, Anger with a nice shot there, so gotta shore a couple things up. It is 11-15. eLevate still four rounds left to make this comeback and force it into overtime. This is a triple push towards B. They have one player, that's Rush, who pushed out just to nade down. Now he's gonna fall away. But they have 2 players inside the bomb site, and this is a very heavy attack from Luminosity, but they get slowed down by that Molotov. Rush picks up the opener, and the damage has been done to Luminosity.
So now the smokes get deployed. This will prohibit the vision, slow it down, like you say, a little bit further as Anger gonna nade through, manages to dodge most of the damage as well, and gets the shot on XP3 based on the tracers coming back. So XP3 not using that silenced M4, that might have done it right there, although these guys know the angles. There's no surprise there. Either way, it was easy for him to line up that shot. A Storm again inside pit. Lex, he's going to lurk up. This is slowly bringing Rush back over as there is a smoke on archway, but the fire slows Lex down. Actually, did he throw that at him? I think he threw that himself. He actually could have taken a lot more map control here. Unfortunately, he doesn't know what we know, but just based on the fact that they could have called that there was that many players on B, it might have been worth it for him to just gamble on the creep.
Yeah, once again, they're trusting Roka a lot alone in this B bomb site. They trust pretty much any player they have in the B bomb site. It's Roka or XP3 usually to be alone, and Roka's got no flashbangs to use. He's moving out of his position to get late on. Here come the Molotov execute. He's got to get back behind some cover, and he's got to play this very, very smartly. Oh, Roka
nice
sprays
play.
down 3 of them, exactly what they needed out of him. Although he's a little bit nervous.
Down his team.
Yeah, he almost blows off Rush's head.
Had the right call because that's where anger was coming from, so he ends up going down, but you talked about how they trusted him. That's why.
Yeah, I was worried that he was going to get caught out there, but he gets behind the cover just in time and peeks, and they're all lined up for him, so an easy spray. It's going to be 12 rounds for eLevate. And this is a comeback that I don't think either of us expected after that first half. Fantastic defensive sides from both of these teams.
Yeah, really well done. We do have a pause right now. What seems to be
Tactical?
our issue? It could be tactical. It definitely could be tactical because nothing indicates anything otherwise. Haven't seen anything come out right now inside console to indicate that someone's having an issue. So I would say this is entirely tactical for Luminosity. This is a situation where they're definitely losing the momentum. They're in a really tight spot money this round. This potentially, I mean, it's going to be one round the difference ultimately. It's going to go to 50. Well, okay, I shouldn't say it will. It's too soon to call. We have seen ecos at the start of this match, but you know, if things go successfully right now for eLevate, who's going to have the better buy, we're at 15-13, then they have one gun round, and it's essentially playing for it all because they'll be right back broken and poor again on a 15-13 situation, or rather 15-14 rather situation to play for overtime. So they essentially have one more full gun, and I imagine they're discussing how they want to manage the money from this point on.
I would assume that they're going to save this round and use the money. I wouldn't even mind a full save here. And just have them build up a bank for the last 2 rounds so they can get AK-47s in the last 2. But yeah, this is a very intriguing decision that Luminosity has ahead of them in terms of their economy. You're exactly right. That was a good point to make.
Well, there you go. They'll go for the pistols. They've already got Tech 9 for anger. That's what the call was all about. So this potentially could put us at 15-13 statistically speaking. Of course, those statistics in CSGO often don't mean that much. There are many teams that are capable of winning rounds with only pistols, and we've seen actually a couple of that tonight. They don't even go for the deagles. Lex is going to be the only one, no surprise.
Yeah, and Godspeed to him. He absolutely should. But they do have something in mind because they have 3 players playing very passively at the bottom of the stairs, not even showing themselves. So
and they also went for 2 smokes, so that means they have some sort of execution they want to play.
Yeah, that's on Anger and Peter. But all right, so Lex, I think they're gonna give him some room to work with these smokes up left flashes. This isn't much of a fake, but it draws away XP3 anyways. But he actually catches himself. Yeah, his teammates find the intel. We don't hear anything up mid. Stay there. But he seems very torn between where he wants to go.
The thing is, when they're that far pushed up in Boiler, unless they're lurking slowly up middle, Storm can hear them. So he knows no one's crossed past him, and that means they have to be heading back toward B. Roka, oh, how did they not see Roka? Because that was clear vision. He gets in behind them. That's 3 for him again this round. XP3 gets Lex and anger. Counter-terrorists win.
I think he was at a weird...
What's the post-mortem version of anger is what I was going to ask. Is there an emotion for that?
I have no idea.
But that was a weird position, was it not? I don't know how they didn't spot him.
It was the angle of the smoke, I'm assuming, as they ran through. And also, there was a flashbang that got thrown out by XP3. I thought it went a little bit too far for this first, because I was a little bit surprised, but it had to be something with the smoke as they ran through it.
That was weird, because on my screen, I didn't see if they got blinded or not, but Roka was blatantly visible. So, not sure what happened. Could have been a number of things. I'd have to look back at that one. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's on 15-13 as we discussed, and the guns are back out, so they're playing for this right now. They lose this 15-14, barring another save, they'll force it, but we could still have overtime on the cards. So an excellent CT side to equal that of what Luminosity did, and
it's another VP setup in halls. Sorry to cut you off. It's another VP defensive push in halls for eLevate. They did this earlier and it shut him down, but Roka's still tearing away at people at Banana. He's going to get away as well.
Crossfire's established, though. Anger's going to come up these stairs with Rush already looking at the window from Boiler. He'll pop back out once Lex... Oh! Lex came out, Desi didn't spot him, and he actually gets the first kill on Rush before Desi re-peeks it. So a bit of a mistiming there from eLevate. Does give up one player, brings it back to a 3-on-4, but look at the HP. Peter on 29, Pith 36. Storm tries to get that flash to work in his advantage, but unfortunately it blinded him as well, so he couldn't push through and take this fight at middle. That allows Anger a little bit more room, but the Fire's going to secure that to make sure they can't go any further. They're just trapped in place, and Desi pops back out. Peter down, and it's all left to two LG players. Man, oh man, we talked up LG's half on the first half on CT. It's eLevate that's doing the equal task this time, so this is more old school Inferno where it's super CT sided. These two teams not showing off amazing execution, but both showing off, as much as I want to say that, both are showing off incredibly good defensive coordination. So,
well, you spoke about it when you came back from Europe after touring all the events they had over there. That talking to some of those European players, they said when they watch North American matches, it's almost like they're 3-4 months behind on the meta, and that would pretty much be exactly where we're at with your idea that it's the old school defensive monster Inferno.
So Pit, Nafly, they're going to try and lurk. They do force it out, obviously, so they'll have their case, but not a lot of smokes. In fact, only one, and even less flashes as Pit drops one without getting it thrown out. They do catch Desi trying to retreat because he was in a very open position, and because Storm was coming, or pardon me, Rush rather, was coming around to support from Arch, he couldn't fall that direction. And it pays off, though, because Rush is going to get the better of the exchanges, and it's all left to Nafly. And can you believe it? This was 13-2 at halftime, and we are staring overtime directly in the face. LG, this has to be harder for them. The pressure is definitely on them, blowing a massive lead like that.
Yeah, what a gut punch. This has got to feel absolutely terrible. And all, I mean, that comeback just never, it just never seemed like it was. I didn't think there was any way, but you look at the plays they made to get there. Roko with that round where he sprays down 3 during a B take. Rush on top of that ledge, getting those 4 kills. Just some insane rounds out of eLevate players to carry them all the way to this point. And they're going to get to start on the CT side first for overtime.
Oh man, this is crazy. Watch, it's MR3. I dare say whoever wins one simple terrorist round, based on what we've just witnessed, has this game. I mean, that's just a prediction based on the trend. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean anything in actual play, but that's the expectation.
This is crazy, and this is just eLevate. Close matches.
Yeah, really, eh? I mean, this looked like for once it was going to be a blowout almost. Specifically because, let's not forget, Luminosity, with 13 rounds, picked up a pistol to make it 14-2, and then lost the ensuing eco.
That's a good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah, if they had an anti-eco that, like, that's crazy. You should never be able to come back. This is actually, truth be told, this is almost the exact same situation as TSM versus VP on Overpass at Starladder, where TSM actually got taken into overtime. Taz had that back authentication error. They thought the match was over. They agreed to replay that round, went to OT, and then TSM were able to still close it out, but they actually won that pistol and were ecoed, so it's the exact same situation as that matchup. That's crazy, actually, when you think about it. If they just anti-eco, they would have won it. They would have won a match point so much sooner.
Yeah, just crushing it, and the mentality is it's got to be tough. I mean, you get a restart in that, you get a start in overtime, so you kind of have to reset your mentality a little bit, but so difficult to do after you blow, like you said, a 14-2 lead. But here's Desi getting aggressive in the halls once again. Anger's gonna curl out. He does take the headshot. Desi falls quickly.
And Anger is the one to catch the kill as Lex now finds his way into the boiler room as the stairs were boiling beside them, still ignited by that fire that was thrown out by Rush, who now gets forced back and well and truly into the pit because he's only got 13 HP. The response is coming, though, from eLevate to push down, but Anna Pit's waiting, though. Really good patience for Pit to wait for this push. They know they've got to get some information somewhere because they're losing A unless they just go for a straight rotation passive defense. So LG are in a better position in the first overtime round than any of the previous rounds that we just witnessed in the second half. So remember what I said, that 1T side,
yeah,
that one round could be massive, and they might already have this because it's all left to Storm and Rush. They are going to get the spawn plate down on the B side.
And I gotta bring it full circle. There were about 3 rounds that I pointed out in the second half where Desi was getting caught out, being aggressive on the defensive side, and he does it there, and it punishes the team. They were able to recover in the past, but not this time, and that's tough.
Massive. And in OT, when you're going to win this round with a 10k start, it's almost worth chasing these weapons because, well, I guess if they only invested, actually, yeah, if they only invested in these M4s, no, actually, if they go third round because of the amount of nades they bought, they could actually force them onto a save. So it's definitely worth it to chase, and they actually are trying. Peter and Anger both in position to try and get a peek toward Pit. That flash is going to indicate to eLevate that they are coming, and Lex is close enough if he finds Storm. Can he get the shot through the statue? He does. That's massive. Rushes on even lower HP. Somehow gets that kill when Lex drops down. That's massive to at least keep one gun.
Yeah, really nice play from Luminosity that round, especially with the chase down. And like you said, because of the buys, because of the 10k start money, you look at Desi who's fully bought out $100. You look at Roka, you know, didn't get head armor, not even getting a kit this round. He's got 1100. He's a little bit better off, but overall, these players are struggling for cash at the moment. This is a round that, based on the regular time, that eLevate absolutely has to win.
I like Pit's play as well to sit back and wait.
Yeah.
For that push down banana, because Pith actually got both those kills quite easily. They weren't quite expecting him to be so patient in that position. So
it's a very experienced and disciplined play, you know, to not let anything tricky like that, because that's what eLevate likes to do. If they lose map control, if they lose a lot of pressure on one side of the map, they look to gain it on the other side. And maybe from playing him in scrims during his time here, you realize that could be what they're doing, and he's ready for it.
3 stack directly inside the A site. Passive play on Arch. Desi comes all the way over as Storm and Rush in the alley. Basically, one looking one way, one looking the other. Now they're going to fall. Okay, so this will put them in a better position because that could have been really tight. Although, with that said, we've seen Storm and Rush both have highlight-worthy rounds from that position. But LG's just waiting.
Yeah, Roka's playing that same awkward angle at the smoke over at B that he had earlier. But very passive from both these teams. Clock's winding down. 30 seconds left on the clock. Bomb is still dropped in middle. They haven't decided where to go. They don't have much utility left to do it. And it looks like they actually want to do a B split. Or an A fake towards B.
I think it's going to have to be A fake unless they get this kill on Desi. Now they do. Now they can go for the split push. And as a result, XP3 is going to fall back. No, Lex is just going to lurk. They are going to rotate Peter back down Banana, take this traditional take. And he actually might get the lurk play. It almost works for Lex to catch all 3. He does get 2. That means there's less backup. In fact, it's the only backup coming now as the entries are extremely successful. And Luminosity Gaming making up for lost time in regulation, looking to get 2 terrorist rounds. That's as many as they got in the entire second half. With a chance of 15 rounds to work with, they'll do it in 2 this time. As Storm has to save. We already talked about how weak their economy is. He has to save this. Rush will be the only one that's in a good position to buy. Roka, yeah, he'll be able to force one out, but the rest of them are going to be strapped for pretty much just FAMAS's. Unless Storm gets away with this, then he'll be able to drop, and that'll at least get 3 M4s up. Yeah,
they're going to be forced to drop a lot of FAMAS in this next round here. Tough pill to swallow for eLevate, getting beat up now on the defense. So Luminosity figured something out during that short break we had between regulation and overtime. And what was a puzzle to them for 15 rounds, they've all of a sudden solved it.
Well, it's definitely working in their favor. Early picks to go with it. Excellent entry frags. Good lurk play from Lex. It all stacks up in their favor. Definitely a lot stronger. And here we go. We actually don't even get 5 rifles. We have to sit with a deagle for Roka just to get the nades out.
And you know, it's Luminosity. There's no standout player. Their frags are very, very evenly distributed. 4 players all within 4 frags of each other.
The interesting thing, by the way, Nafly has been on 27 kills since the first half, if I'm not mistaken. Because I'm pretty sure I called that he was on 27 after 24 rounds. So he's gone dead silent for the past, how many rounds is that? 18 rounds. That's actually crazy. I'm going to have to, someone check that stat afterwards, but I'm pretty sure he's dropped a goose egg in the entire second half and all of this overtime. So he needs to get his T game improved big time.
Look at what Luminosity just did. They just pulled a fast one on eLevate. They threw all the nades and all the smokes and some flashbangs over to kind of simulate an attack. Pulls a rotate, but not only that, he uses all of the utility in XP3. He's got nothing left. No smokes, no flashbangs to use. So when the real hit comes in, it's just going to be Roka who's got anything to respond with.
He had 19 on CT, someone says. I'm pretty sure, okay, well, either way, I'm pretty sure I called that he was at 27 a long time ago. So Nafly has definitely gone quiet. Roka's on 20, or pardon me, Rush rather is on 28 to lead the way now. Either way, it doesn't matter because we're definitely reaching the conclusion of this matchup. And they try and come in this time. Much better hold from Roka with the nade, and XP3 does massive damage to the first two to allow that to be a kill, as Desi's now going to pick up Anger. And Roka, he is known for his deagle as well. It's not just Lex who can use it to good effect. He'll pick up two, and we'll swap it over, but 2 rounds T-side to Luminosity. That could be massive in making the difference in this matchup, because, again, now all they have to do essentially, I mean, they're going to be a match point with 1 simple victory on T-side. I favor the MR5 in overtime. I really do. There's more time to really take advantages. It's still so close. You build up an advantage of those 2 rounds. Now if you slip for 1, it's right back to an even keel.
I like the MR3 in the 10K because it really, I mean, Counterstrike, what makes it a fascinating FPS game is the economy factor, and that really forces you to really think about how you're going to buy it. And you see a lot of teams really toying with it. You know, a lot of teams get punished for buying ops in the first round, and a lot of teams, you know, especially on the CT side, elect to go without head armor. Maybe some rounds, you know, they really measure out how many people buy kits and everything like that. So it's kind of interesting to see how teams try and minimize economical damage in overtime.
You know what my favorite thing to do in dead time is?
What's that?
Fly around like I'm racing in the map.
Huh.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you make the sounds in your head as well?
No, God, no. The only sounds I make
I mean,
are...
don't say it like that was a crazy question. We both know that's something you do.
You're crazy. No, I would never do that. So this has to be an extent. This is almost a way to get, by the way, by not readying up immediately, this is almost a way to get a timeout for free. So you have to wonder if that's what eLevate are potentially doing right now, because it's their task to win this. Luminosity's in the hot spot. At the same time, they haven't played the CT side in 18 rounds now.
Yeah,
so they're going to be cold on.
That is the one thing, is it's been quite some time since they've played a CT round. So, but no matter what, they're so happy with the 2 rounds they got. They're in the driver's seat here in this overtime. And the question for eLevate, I mean, they put themselves in positions where they had some nice hits in that first half, but it was the rotations from Luminosity. It was the amount that they swarmed to the point of contact, and they just shut down attacks. I mean, eLevate only had 1 or 2 rounds, or maybe 3 on the first half, where they were really spread out, trying to go for picks and having map control. The other hits were all like 4 or 5 man clumps, hitting the B bomb site, hitting the A bomb site, all up lane, all up rap side, things of that nature. So there wasn't a whole lot of trickiness to it.
So here we go, back to Anger Lex on Banana this time. Pitt's going to be over with Nafly and Peter. Set up that crossfire. More aggressive on the top of middle, less so on the backside of apartments where the entrance comes into Pitt. But eLevate looks to lead off toward Banana to start things off in the round. Bombs in the hands of XP3. Desi's lurking toward the apartments to at least get a read if things don't go well at Banana. Find out what the situation is. Give them their options. He actually drops off it. He's going to go to Boiler. Interesting that he was already in the stairwell. He failed it. Did he really just fail that jump?
It would appear so. Well, maybe he didn't fail it. He's lining up for a smoke, it looks like, so he dropped out to get this. But Peter might see that, might spray through. He doesn't. So there's a small distraction going on today, but no one budges over towards B whatsoever.
That smoke covers off front library. That would mean usually that they're going to wrap truck side, but there's only 2 players left over there. This is a good rotation from eLevate, as Anger is already in position to take down 2. But Roka's fired back. There's Nafly. Finally contributes with another one. On to 28 for him now, as Roka does drop. It's left into a 3-on-2. And LG want this early match point. Lex is going to make it that much closer, but XP3 claws it back. He has this bomb, and he's got a little bit of time because Nafly not yet in position on this rotation. And Pith was way far away back over toward the A site still, and he's just getting to CT now. And XP3 might take advantage of this. He knows they haven't come around the corner, but he doesn't get the shot. He might have been able to catch them out unexpectedly on the cross, but it doesn't work. Not to be. In Luminosity, here we go. Match point. They'll have the first one, and they'll have it for 2 opportunities before a potential double overtime.
Yeah, and there's Naf waking up for you with the monster round, but really it was once again, it was a good read from Luminosity. 3 players over there. You know, eLevate pushes towards CT spawn. Anger takes out 2, and then they grab the second one coming from spawn in the middle of that rotate. But Lex just played it so smart back in Emo, not peeking, just hiding, delaying, you know, letting the clock run down, letting his teammates start getting to better positioning. So Lex playing the delay game there to huge effect.
So Storm gets up all with Rush. This time they actually look like they want to take a bit of a stance in toward those apartments, as Roka and XP3 They're going to work banana. Desi just tapping away. Tap, tap, tap. Like a dancer with that AK. Into the window of Boiler. Does have the bomb way back directly by him, so he'll just grab that once the call's made on which way they want to head over. But the defense, otherwise, Nofly is again in a different position to hold this apartment play. We haven't seen this in a while from inside, but there it is. XP3 takes down Peter.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen it on the Terra side.
First time we've seen Peter really bring it out in a while, because he didn't bring much of it out at all, like you say, on the Terra side. It's been so long since they were on defense, but he goes down early. Nofly is going to get back to XP3, but they've gotten 2 entries. They have a man advantage, and they also have a bomb that's being planted right now. Roka, Lex is hot on his heels. He may spot him up, but he has to do so quickly, because if Anger doesn't know, he's going to get caught off by Roka. Lex gets there, and just in time to save Anger. Actually, Anger turned back and got the shot himself. It wasn't Lex's doing. But either way, this bomb has been ticking for a good substantial amount of time, and they've got excellent smokes off on both entry points. This gives Anger as the only one with a bit of a line of sight inside the site. The line of sight inside the site is already the kills coming out. Elevator doing the task, and they're going to get their terrorist round. They'll bring this back within 1. And that was an excellent play. Those early 2 picks, that made all the difference. And T-side it up. Maybe that's the key. Maybe that's the go-to right now.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We didn't see XP3 with an op, and all he picks it up the first round of the match, and he gets 2 entry kills with it, and that's something they could not find in the first half in their original, in the regulation terrorist half for eLevate. It was very, very few entry kills for them. XP3 grabs 2. That's why they get that first round in overtime, and can they do it again? Can they bring it back one more time to force a double overtime? Desi's going very, very quickly up mid. He's going to use that smoke cover. He does eat a little bit of an 8. He eats a second one as well. Down to 60 HP, and the Flashes just push that off. They wanted to be aggressive up mid very quickly, but LG stalls it out.
And they haven't given up an early first blood yet like last round, so LG's in a much better position, not only just by stalling that, but having the numbers to work with. Peter's headed back toward the library. He's on an M4. And this works, though. This actually complements Nafly and Pith's positionings, because Nafly's inside the site. They'll essentially give up truck, and if one's going to watch apartments and one's going to have to play for essentially 2 men coming down the lane, typically speaking, Peter's got to be in position to support it. If he stays aggressive and gets caught, then they have the position to wrap on Arch as well, and Naf and Pith will be massively overwhelmed. Desi still trying to just distract. That pulls Anger, and Peter's going to rotate back through CT, so they've actually pulled him off on 1 flash. Really peculiar and early rotation right there from LG.
Yeah, but Desi's not selling this anymore. He's not even going for anything. The smoke clears. That's when he decides to cross. Peter misses everything from CT spawn, but how is Desi just allowed to run around like this? There's the rat. XP3 and Rush just open up the A site, and it looks perfect for him.
That's Peter. That was exactly the play I was talking about. If he stays in library and can at least stop the push onto Arches, Nafly's in a better position to get kills on the entry. Instead, Nafly gets shot down from behind on a flank because Peter wasn't in position. So Desi going to take Lex down. It's all left on Anger, 1v3, and we're potentially going to double overtime. Storm's going to make that the case. And I still don't understand that rotation on a single flash call on B.
Hey, here's what I understand. After 15 rounds in regulation of strong, amazing defense from Luminosity, Desi comes up in water over at B towards Grill, and he runs back and forth in a circle, and he crosses CT spawn twice with no smoke. They had 3 players from Luminosity Gaming there, and none of them peeked. He didn't take a single point of damage. He ran around in a circle twice. I don't understand what they were doing. Why weren't they peeking him?
That's craziness. That's utter craziness. And we touched on it. T-side, well, both teams got 2. That was a bit abnormal based on the trends. So if we go back to standard formation, this could actually go for a while. Because both teams made mistakes. It's going to come down to a game of mistakes, but when both teams make them and they get neutralized, it's taking advantage of the opportunities that are given to you. I mean, map control was well taken by both sides on the T. If life gives you lemons, take all the map control you get.
Words of wisdom.
I'm surprised that one made you laugh that much, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it did. It's just kind of funny.
Either way, I mean, that's essentially what happens. If Peter falls off, gives them that entire movement on Arch, they take it, they use it to full control. Yeah. If that's going to be given to them, if the team's going to make that mistake and give that much up, then take advantage of it. That's the same thing we saw basically with LG doing on their B entrances, just simply by catching out the crossfire in the first entry kill. So now they just have to limit the mistakes. Roka's going to start things off well again. It's Pith this time that goes down. So eLevate again with a man advantage on T side, and this is how Luminosity has been losing those rounds.
Yeah, and you know, it came in because Luminosity in regulation, they had great map control. You know, they weren't giving anything up. I think it was, I mean, part of it is just obviously you're in overtime. You let that come back, you're a little bit shaken to begin with. But on those rounds, you know, I talked about that's why I like MR3 in overtime is because the economy comes into factor. They're very low on utility and nades, so you know, they don't have the pop flashes to stall out. They don't have the smokes to stall out the choke point. So it seemed Peter was a little bit edgy on where he wanted to rotate.
Yes. Rest in peace, Rush. Roka just killed Rush. So now this... Wait. I'm so confused. I don't even understand that kill because there was so much time on it.
What are you talking about? It's not live.
We're not live. Yeah, okay, all right. I was going to say, man, I alt-tapped for 1 second. I came back and they were playing in position. I was like, what the hell? And then I looked at money. All right. That's my one moment tonight. I'm done. Don't tell anyone that happened. No one's watching anyway. It's fine.
Oh, my Lord. I'm so worried about you at the moment.
Well, it's because the second I came back and looked over, it looked like they were executing.
You were Googling puns for this half, weren't you?
I was not. I don't Google my puns. I was looking at the fact that Passion and Olaf in a one-on-one.
Ah.
Okay, well, this time we are live. I'm going to take a breather, spare myself the embarrassment, and I'm going to let you take it. That spam does work for Nafly, though, so this does give first blood to LG.
Yeah, already at a disadvantage is eLevate here. And there is one player that's going to be Desi up mid. He's doing the same fake that he just did the other, a couple of rounds ago in overtime. He's going to throw his smoke over towards the library. He's going to Molotov off, and he's going to see what he can find up mid. But Luminosity's not giving him anything, so he's just going to have to quietly fall back. But once again, Anger's the one itchy on the rotate. They have advantage. There's no way to rotate this committed on it. It's going to leave Lex all alone as this Molly push comes in. He's blind. He's in back. He's in emo. And he's got to have a huge performance. He's shooting. He's not connecting with much. They know where he is now. eLevate's going to swarm the site. He does get one, but he does get a second one. A great play from Lex. Anger pushes through the smoke. That gives him the time he needs, and he takes down 2 of his own. So Anger comes back just in time.
Okay, I think I'm ready. I think I've recovered from that.
Breathe easy.
Man. At this point, I'm calling Vincent. Oh, God. So... Luminosity normalize things. At least they'll get a CT side going a little bit sooner this time in overtime. The second overtime. It's the 19th round they couldn't find before because both teams have picked up 2 on T. So now eLevate have to do it the hard way. Good push, good early aggression on Banana this time, but they're so aggressive from Rush. He gets all the way around that fire. He's forward of it, and he actually manages to get Peter before he falls away. Lex is very desperate right now. That Molotov's going to get him. He can't fall back to safety, and it's back to a 2-on-2 with a completely open B site. So they're going to have to split the defense. They have a chance to take a 2-on-1 entry, depending on which side they take, unless Nafly takes Desi right there, but it goes the other way. And eLevate look to respond immediately as Pith comes back over. He does have 100 HP. He does have an AK to work with. And Desi almost caught with a flash out. In fact, he is. Tries to get over into Graveyard to bail himself out with that strafe jump, but Pitts gets the kill. This does let XP3 know exactly where he's playing, and he makes no mistake. He takes him down, and we're back to knotted up at 19.
Yeah, nice round here. We're going to tie things up, so neither team really giving anything away. I don't know why that 2-on-1 was just... There was a minute left. I don't know why they were... I know they were trying to beat the rotation, but just that rush to try and get to Graveyard. So, XP3 does end up winning it. Now into the last round, there's 4 Molotovs in the hands of eLevate, and they've been using them as fakes. They haven't really been using them too much, aside from that B execute with the Molotovs over that we see all the time. You know, we see some European teams start to use these as they make progress with map control at mid, Molotov out closet, Molotov under porch, and force players out of position. We haven't seen that too much, but... They actually Molotov off bedroom, and there's no one in halls to take advantage of someone coming out of bedroom, so that's a little bit curious. That's kind of a wasted molly.
So they all get blinded there. That slows them further. Nafly and Pith need to be so careful in how they play this off with each other because Pith, that's a super aggressive peek, and he realizes there's a lot more than one player there from eLevate. It does give them that read, but it weakens their defense massively. Anger's on his horse already, and the Stallion's going to get him into board Library quickly, but eLevate's red on this. They know they have a pick on A. They know there's going to have to be a rotation to reinforce that, so they're going to fall back to Banana. Lex is playing it, but he doesn't have a secondary smoke. He's already used that once, so as soon as that dissipates, he's going to have nothing else to hold on to the site with. But Anger's wise to it. He's going to rotate back, and Nafly's actually going to join him on at least Speedway. But eLevate, man, they're going back and forth to make this work for them. This is really well played by them.
Yeah, and look at how spread out the defense is because of it. Naf's too scared to commit because they could already be up, so they have no map control. Peter grabs one from truck side. He's got to get one more. He does. He grabs a second one on Naroka. Now he's just got to hide the truck. He reloads. Naf drops Storm coming out of holes, and this is just a cleanup. Now it looks so good for eLevate, but Peter shuts it down.
Well played by Peter. And not only that, I didn't see who it was. I think it was Nafly. It was Nafly. Got the secondary shot over his shoulder. XP3's still bringing this 1 HP. Yeah, he's not going to go much further than that. Nafly actually got the shot on the guy that was entering from apartments as Peter was overwhelmed in the pit, because typically that's going to be his spot. So he plays truck similar to how Forrest plays it. Is effective, and if he's going to get that aggressive on the front, he needs to have someone to cover his back, and that's exactly what Nafly did. So that was a recovery. That was actually a big recovery, because if you give up 2 rounds again T-side, it's their turn to be in the pressure's plate.
Pressure plate?
Pressure cooker? Boiler plate? I'm not going to do any more of these. We're going to move on from this now.
It's alright. Everyone has off nights, Matt.
I think I just had a huge off moment already. I can only go up from there.
Yeah, you really don't have much farther to fall. It's okay.
I don't even think I fell. I think I, like, space planted. I just dove headfirst into the asphalt.
Curb stop?
Oh, those are like the worst things ever. People who do that should be like sentenced by death.
Let's get off this subject immediately. So, it goes back towards that defensively skewed overtime or the Inferno half.
Hey, Lakia's in chat, by the way. Hello, Lakia.
He wants it to finish. We all want this to finish.
I like the new Mouse Sports roster, but I wish the best for Lakia. And Nico, for that matter.
Nico is a talented young guy. He's young, isn't he?
Hey, Moses, it's not live this time. I just thought I'd let you know.
I thought you'd inform me, so I don't make a mistake?
Yeah, in case you alt-tab this time.
Oh, boy. Like you said, I think these extended ready-ups in between overtimes is just, you know, what you're saying, it's those tactical pauses. Or maybe not even a pause, just a tactical delay of time to talk some things over.
It is a free timeout, essentially. At some point, the admins would give them a kick in the arse and say, hurry up, but this is a good way to do it because there's no real indication. No one knows if it's a timeout. If someone legitimately isn't ready, if they had to run to the bathroom, who knows? It's late in the match. It's been going for a while, so...
So we do want to let you guys know that we've been in this overtime. You guys could probably guess it. Our second match did go live. That's going to be between Nylum and Affinity, I believe. Let me double check, but at the moment, Affinity is beating Nylum 2-0, so they did win the pistol on the ensuing save. And we're going to switch over to that one just as soon as Finish is here, but we're obviously not going to go away from a double overtime match.
So... we will get started momentarily. That's the plan, at least. I have to suspect that... well, Rush isn't moving right now, but he got out of spawn. I have to suspect that someone on LG we're waiting on. It might be Rush. It could be Rush. Everything's crashing on my computer. Why is this?
You always have computer issues.
I need to reformat this weekend.
Can you
remind me to do that?
Yeah, I will.
Thanks. So here we go. We are ready for the fourth half of the total overtime combined tally thing. Roka spin botting. Look at this. What a cheater.
Using those turn binds.
Yeah, turn bind.
I don't think he uses those anymore.
He used to. Yeah, he used to have low sensitivity.
I don't even know if you can anymore.
I seem to remember them being a lot quicker than that though for his turn bind.
They were. It was like a 180 like immediate type thing. It was like for the Xbox controllers.
Yeah, it just gives. I mean, it was a smart way of doing things because it does give you that really quick advantage to be able to turn and get in line a lot faster with a low sensitivity and not have to lift your mouse doing it. But I mean, he was sort of an odd duckling in the way of doing that. He wasn't always the one to do it. I love when teammates stare at each other while they wait for something to happen because right now it's pretty passive play from LG. Peter is waiting. They have made themselves a good home inside the boiler, though, so watch for an execution to come out. Storm's playing really passively with Rush and Desi stacked arch side. Now, that's interesting. This does give them a lot quicker rotation to B, which perhaps is why they're doing it, but we haven't seen them stack the arch side pretty much the entire game.
I think that's why they're doing it, giving them a different look, but what this does, it puts a lot of pressure on Storm. If they actually smoke them off and just go up lane, this is going to be huge.
Desi and Desi and Rush get really close to these smokes, though, looking for the flash through. But Anger's going to catch Desi before he can even get in position to do so. And strangely enough, Rush goes through without a flash to work with, hoping he could catch them off guard, but it wasn't to be. Nafly turns back, finds him, and puts him down. As Storm now will take out Anger. And Lex tries to get onto the highway and force the issue. And it's going to be a pinch onto the B site, so they'll forget all about Storm. He can stay there all by himself, but he's going to get to Banana and get behind them, and if they don't get an entry working soon, that could be problematic. XP3 finally does go down. They will round the corner, and Roka's going to be the only one left in the site directly. So here comes the plant. How close is Storm? Not close enough to prohibit that bomb planter from getting it in place, and now he's got to do this 1-on-3. Good news is there are two players still looking towards CT spawn. This leaves Pit divided, but he's so far back inside the site that he pretty much has to expose himself and take so much time getting there that it's going to give up the gig, and exactly what's going to happen.
This is great positioning from LG. There's no way they should lose this, and they're not. Pit gets the trade. Nicely done by them. That's going to put him on another match point.
So one more match point.
Yep,
it will. Yep. 21-19. They had 2 match points to work with in the last overtime. They'll have the same situation here. And we'll see if they can make the most of it this time. But again, they're on the terrorist side, so it's actually harder this time, or should be harder this time than what it was on their CT side.
Alright, and once again, they did they're stacked up on the rep side right now, but they are going to transition one player through.
Watch Peter. He's going aggressive up, so he's already found a place at the angle to watch this crossfire on top mid, but Rush was on the backside of it, so he catches out Pit. This forces Peter to change his angle, because all they had to do is sit and wait. If they could both get into those positions for free, they could just sit and wait for someone to peek, but it doesn't work out for them. They actually lose a man early, and for nothing. They don't even get damage dealt in return.
Yeah, and it's a man advantage for eLevate. They're still playing very, very aggressive. They could just turtle up with this situation and just choose not to lose anyone. Desi's going to push into the boiler, though. He's going to be aggressive like he likes to do. They do kill him, but Lex falls in the process, so it's a 4-on-3 now.
Nafly actually got that kill because he tried to take the shot at Desi to bail out Lex, who had a nade out. So it turns out to be a TK, but either way, it was going to be a trade. He had to take that shot.
Shoot the hostage.
Well, yeah, basically. They went for that same setup as well with 3 players inside boiler. This time there was more of a stack on the atrium side. They're going to go back through these mid plays, though. Rush going to catch Anger. Couldn't do anything as he came around the corner. Nafly does, though. He'll find Rush. They've got this back down to a 2-on-3, and there's only Storm inside the A site, so they have a chance to win this 1-on-2 and get the bomb down. That's exactly what they're going to do. Nafly back on fire. On to 35 now for him. 1 ahead of Rush. It's a back-and-forth battle, and 33 for Anger, who's caught up as well. Good play from both of those guys. Anger having another one of those seasons, and here comes the retake. 2-on-2. Fire to force out the player, and Pit goes a little bit deep so he can still hug Graveyard, but that's not where he's going to be playing. It's Nafly inside the site. They get the trade. This now comes down to Peter, who just has to bite out XP3, and he's making a lot of noise. Back turn when he goes for the peak, but Peter can't land the shot. XP3 still has a chance to win this. Not going to happen. LG, they were up 13-2 after the first half. They go to double overtime, and they squeak out a win. That was TSM VP all over again.
Yeah, and what